When most people think of shoegaze, they think UK. My Bloody Valentine, Slowdive, Ride. But if you've ever gone down the rabbit hole of Japanese shoegaze, you know it feels different. More emotional, more cinematic, sometimes prettier, sometimes heavier. So where did Japanese shoegaze actually come from? Get the fuck off me. And how get the fuck off me. And how did it become one of the most important scenes in modern shoegaze? What's up, guys? To anyone who's new to the channel, my name is Will. I share my approach on songwriting and music production. I write songs inspired by some of your favorite artists, and I've actually taken some popular hit songs and reimagined them as shoegaze. However, lately I've been making these explained shoegaze style videos to which a lot of you have been resonating with. And so I figured, why not make more? So the way I see it is, Japanese shoegaze started as an import, not some sort of isolated scene. It's well known that some of these pioneer shoegaze bands have that sort of shoegaze DNA, right? Like My Bloody Valentine has those gliding guitars, density and blur dissonance. Slowdive with their atmosphere and dreaminess. Ride with their melodic alt-rock guitar drive. You have the Jesus and Mary Chain with their feedback and pop-like song structure, and of course the Cocteau Twins with their ethereal texture and vocal haze. And it's also good to note that there is some post-punk, dream pop, and noise pop DNA in this sort of shoegaze. UK shoegaze DNA. Now, Japanese shoegaze was never just shoegaze. I mean, from the jump, it had crossover DNA, like indie rock, noise rock, dream pop, post-rock, and even alternative rock. And I mean even metal and electronic elements later. So shoegaze arrived in Japan the way a lot of sounds did in the late 80s and early 90s, as this imported cult, almost sacred music. But Japanese artists didn't just imitate the UK blueprint. They filtered it through their own indie and alternative scenes. And that's where things start to get really interesting. One of the first bands that really matter here isn't the prettiest shoegaze band. It's actually one of the weirdest. Japanese shoegaze in the early phase was less of a clean scene and more of a bunch of bands orbiting shoegaze textures. If you're looking for one of the earliest, truly important Japanese bands in this conversation, Coaltar of The Deepers is absolutely one of them. They weren't just doing dreamy shoegaze. They were already smashing it into noise, alternative rock, electronics, and heavier textures. Luminous orange is important because they represent the more melodic, indie pop, dreamier side of the scene. Proof that Japanese shoegaze wasn't always about noise, but also songwriting and emotional color. And to me, in my opinion, they show that Japanese shoegaze wasn't just loud pedalboard worship. A bridge band in the late 90s and early 2000s has to probably be Honey Dip. Bands like Honey Dip helped show how shoegaze in Japan didn't always live in a clearly labeled box. Japanese shoegaze often existed before the internet labeled it Japanese shoegaze. And that's actually what makes the next phase so important, because Japanese shoegaze didn't become a recognizable movement till much later. In the 2000s and early 2010s, Japanese shoegaze started to become more identifiable as a scene. And that's because of internet discovery, blogs, YouTube uploads.
Hey guys, Shoegaze Peter here. Someone asked me about my opinion on the Japanese shoegaze band Pasteboard.
A lot of people didn't discover Japanese shoegaze in real time. They discovered it retroactively through internet culture. And once shoegaze had its global revival, listeners started asking,
okay, what else is out there besides the usual UK and US bands?
And that's when Japan started becoming this holy grail scene. And if there's one band that became a gateway drug for that era, it's gotta be Tokyo Shoegazer. They literally became one of the most recognizable scene-defining Japanese shoegaze names. I mean, even the name is basically telling you, yes, this is the Japanese shoegaze canon now. I feel like they were one of those bands that made Western listeners obsessed with Japanese shoegaze.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
I mean, Tokyo Shoegazer didn't invent Japanese shoegaze, but I feel like they helped define how people imagined it. Kinoko Teikoku is a must-mention band if we're talking about modern Japanese shoegaze. They formed in 2007 and became one of the most emotionally resonant, internationally loved acts associated with the scene. They're dreamier, more introspective, softer, but still have a huge sound. And this is where Japanese shoegaze stopped sounding like a subgenre and started sounding more like a mood. Mass of the Fermenting Dregs is important because Japanese shoegaze wasn't just one sound. It could be pretty and floating and almost explosive. They helped bridge shoegaze, post-hardcore, noise rock, and emo in a way modern listeners totally understand. By the time you get to bands like My Dead Girlfriend, Japanese shoegaze almost feels mythic online. Once you hear enough of these bands, you start to realize that Japanese shoegaze has its own personality, usually more emotional than macho. A lot of it feels more fragile, more inward, and even more romantic, whereas Western shoegaze is more Deftones core, riff first. A lot of Japanese shoegaze isn't just noise for the sake of texture. It's emotional songwriting hidden inside texture. And that's exactly why it stayed alive. Honestly, that openness is also why the scene still matters now. Shoegaze could evolve and not stay in that trapped nostalgia. And that might actually be the biggest reason of why it still resonates.